windowless, the majestic hotel in Paris. Things have moved on a little since then, although we do sometimes feel the similarities to those former engaged individuals. And thanks to them, the CCIVS could thrive and continue to be relevant. And speaking of engaged individuals, I'd like to thank the team who put this event into place. We've spent many hours reflecting and preparing for the following events, which I hope you will all enjoy. The team make part of millions of volunteers, local communities, and engaged individuals who contributed to the history of the IBS movement and to CCIVS. We're not very good at self-promotion. However, we do know that IBS has changed lives. We even have a 10-year impact measurement report now to prove this, and you can find it in the chat. And I also know this through my own experience lived. I'm one of those people that IBS changed. I didn't know what hit me 6 months into my one-year project in the Croisée des Regards in the south of France. I just knew that I couldn't return home. I continued with more long-term projects with Solidarité Jeunesse in their office in France, with Youth Action for Peace and different events that were organized, in short-term work camps with IPYL in Palestine, and 6 years volunteering and working with Subirasur in Argentina and volunteering with one of the youth groups, Quebrachito, in Villana, Santa Fe. This year marks 20 years since I started volunteering in the IBS movement and 10 years as director of CCIVS. I feel grateful and privileged to have shared parts of the CCIVS journey. I hope that you too can enjoy a little part of this journey in the next 60 minutes. And with this, I hand the floor over to Hani, CCIVS Youth Action Officer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vicky, for the speech. And we would like to thank to Xavier Larios for creating the new logo for CCIVS. As you can see on our background, we are using the new logo right now. And we can continue to the next agenda.
Thank you. Okay, so to start a little with the program, I will share a video about the history of IBS, and I hope you enjoy it.
After the First World War, a group of pacifists met in the Netherlands to discuss how to prevent war in the future. One of the pacifists present there, the Swiss engineer Pierre Sarasot, proposed to bring together a group of volunteers coming from different countries, including the countries that had been in war, to reconstruct an almost completely destroyed village in the north of France. After someone said, "All this talking is leading nowhere," Pierre came up with the phrase, "We need deeds, not words," a slogan that for many years was the leitmotif of the work camp organizations. And so, Pierre initiated the first project in the small village near Verdun, which had been heavily bombed during the war. Fields needed to be cleared, shelters needed to be built for the population. So, on November the 20th, yes, almost 101 years ago, the group of volunteers from different countries arrived in Essence and started clearing the fields and building shelters for the people who had lost their homes. After some weeks, the German volunteers arrived because it had been difficult for them to get a visa. The group was complete now. It felt uncomfortable working side by side for the volunteers whose countries had been in war before, but all were there with goodwill and the motivation to create mutual understanding and friendship to support the local community in rebuilding their village. Unfortunately, the local community did not want the German volunteers to stay in the village. The wounds were too deep, and they wanted the Germans to leave. After long discussions, the international group of volunteers decided to abandon the village because working on reconciliation was one of the main aims of the project, and this was only possible with all volunteers actively being part of the project. So, sending home the Germans wasn't an option. After the first experiment, the idea was born, and Pierre did not give up. He initiated more projects in these first years, mainly as a response to natural disasters. He also got in touch with other pacifists to enlarge his knowledge on peace building and non-violent strategies to resolve conflict. One of the people that whom he exchanged letters and opinions was Gandhi. In 1931, the two men met in Lausanne, where Gandhi was invited after having participated in the Round Table Conference in London. Promoting a culture of peace through intercultural dialogue and mutual respect, through building strong bonds and real friendship, through sharing realities and showing solidarity, and by working together side by side. This has been the goal of more than 100 years. Organizations have set up networks through which they exchange volunteers and work on common projects. These networks can be regional networks such as Alliance for European Voluntary Service Organizations, or NVDA, the Network for Voluntary Development in Asia, or NAVO, the Platform for African Voluntary Service Organizations. Some networks share a common history or ideological background, such as Service Civil International, the organization founded by Pierre Ceresor, the ICYE Federation, or IBO. While each network has its own specificities, they all feel part of the same international voluntary service movement and share the same values and goals.
Okay. Wait. I hope you pay attention, because then we will play a game and you will need to use this information for the game. Okay, so now just to break a little more the ice here all together, we will just share a Menti. I don't know if you know what this is. It's a word cloud where you can participate. I sent via chat the link for the Menti, and the idea is that you can enter 3 words that has to do with what it means for you this 75 years of CCIVS. Okay. I don't know, anything else you want to add, Hani, for this? Oh, I think we lost Hani. Okay. Here you are.
I apologize. Okay. I suddenly lost the connection. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so I will share my screen, and we will see which is the most chosen word for this. Let's see. If you have any trouble at getting into a link, please comment. Okay, so we have volunteering, we have peace, we have engagement, friendship, passion, but volunteering and peace are really big, so they are the most chosen ones. Also community, passion, international engagement, family, service. Okay, I think this is a good overview of what it means to us.
Oh, there's mention, inclusion, deep connection, unity of purpose.
Empathy, commitment, service, solidarity. Let's wait one more moment to see if someone else wants to participate. but I think the most chosen words are volunteering, peace, solidarity, and service, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Okay, thank you for sharing with us. We will share also this beautiful poster after this meeting. So now we will give you the floor to Alexandra and Mauro, who are our facilitators.
Thank you, Julieta and Hani. Hello to all and welcome today. I'm Alexandra, President of Service Civil International, an IVS organization that we have celebrated around 100 years in 2020. I'm happy to have received the invitation to participate in the launching webinar of CCIVS for its 75 years anniversary celebration, sent to me by two very creative young girls, Julieta and Hani, who are moderating today's webinar. CCIVS and the CI have a long-lasting close relationship, walk a common path in the IVS world all these years, and share common values such as volunteering for a world of peace, of social justice, environmental sustainability, of mutual respect, inclusion, and solidarity. We are here to celebrate CCIVS Foundation in 1948 under the aegis of UNESCO. CCIVS includes now more than 200 IVS organizations under its umbrella and in more than 100 countries. So happy anniversary, CCIVS. Thank you.
So, hello everybody, this is Mauro, and thank you for inviting me to this event, which is very important for me because I did actually many things in IVS. Right now I'm a freelance trainer and project manager, but I did many things. I started doing work camps, then coordinating work camps, working in the offices, working as placement officer. And in 2017, 2018, I had also the privilege of working in the office of CCIVS in Paris. And this was a really great experience because it enlarged my horizons. And also the reason why I'm still working in the IVS movement is also thanks to this great experience. So this is, in a nutshell, a presentation about myself. It could be much longer, but we will see also about possibilities, many possibilities that people might have to engage with IVS and CCIVS later. So if I'm not mistaken, now we should present this series of webinars, right? Julieta and Hani, and you're going to see now the next infographic about the series of webinars to celebrate the anniversary of CCIVS. So today is the launch webinar, 23rd of August, and the next will be the webinar of volunteering for peace in September. In October, we are going to have another webinar, volunteering for social justice. And then also another appointment in October is a webinar for decolonize IVS and live life. And then there is going to be also another special webinar, which is going to happen during the General Assembly of CCIVS in Greece. And for this, there is also the opportunity here to sign up. Okay, and now we can go on with the next section, which is the quiz, if I'm not mistaken, right? Julieta, okay, so we are going to launch now the quiz, which is related to the presentation, to the video that we just saw. So if you pay attention to the video, you should be able to answer correctly to the quizzes. There are actually 4 questions, so we can start with the first question. And now we are going to see the text of the first question. So can we launch it? Okay, I can read it in the meantime, and then we can solve this.
You know, it's not moving the presentation, just for you to know.
Okay, so I will just read the first question. So in the first WordCamp in 1920 in France, led by Pierre Srezol and the International Voluntary Service Movement to promote reconciliation after, yes, this is the text, after the First World War, German volunteers were initially welcomed, but local authorities later demanding their departure. What do you think Srezol and his team did in response? So option A, they invited the German volunteers to leave and continue the project without them. Option B, they ignored the condition and continued the project, starting a conflict with the local authority. Option C, all volunteers decided to stop the project and to live together. And option D, they hid the German volunteers and continued the project with them, hoping that the local authorities would not detect them. So what is the correct answer? I think we should display now the, yeah. So we can give some seconds. Probably if you pay attention to the video, and if you know IVS history, you should know. Okay, so the answer C, of course, is correct. So all volunteers decided to stop the project and to live together. And working together with people belonging to different countries, cultures, and social backgrounds is one of the main principles of IVS. So by living together, Pierre Srezol and friends wanted to convey a clear message, that is, the group is as important as the work. And we have to keep in mind that in IVS project, working together with the local communities is essential. For this reason, the group, although not complying with the condition imposed by the authority, decided to respect it and to leave without starting a conflict, as the previous cooperation was productive. So this was the first question. So we can go now to question number 2. So can we change the page? Okay, I can start reading the question and the page will be displayed. So this is about CCIVS. CCIVS and the organization and networks belonging to the IVS movement share a common vision and mission. Among the following quotes, which one mirrors IVS values at best? A, the best part of competition is that through it, we discover what we are capable of. B, if you have come here to help me, you're wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. C, the more you're actively and practically engaged, the more successful you will be. And D, happiness doesn't result from what we get, but from what we give. Okay, as you can see here, the B was highlighted, which is the correct. And some comment about it. So instead of imposing a top-down approach, IVS organizations work on a horizontal grassroots level, trying to establish meaningful and respectful exchanges with the local communities. The quote is by an Aboriginal activist group from Queensland, Australia, by the way. So the quote that you can see highlighted here. And now we can go to the third question. Okay, I'm waiting for the page to change.
I always change the slide, but for some reason, I don't know why it's not working.
Okay, so I will keep on reading, then if you can launch it. So question number 3. Yeah, this is question number 2. Question number 3, as we will see later, when we are going to talk about the possibilities that you have in IVS to engage. So there are many ways you can engage in volunteer activities with IVS. If you want to join an IVS short or long-term voluntary project, you need to have A, specific technical skills and knowledge, B, a university degree, C, high motivation, preparation, flexibility, and open-mindedness, or D, an advanced level of knowledge of the local language. So the options are A, technical skills, B, a university degree, C, motivation, preparation, flexibility, and D, an advanced level of knowledge of the local language. So you can write your answer in the chat. So just a few seconds. Yeah. So here the correct answer was C, of course. High motivation, preparation, flexibility, and open-mindedness. Even if in some projects might require a recommendation letter or specific skills, okay? This is normal, but the vast majority of IVS projects are open to everyone. So they're really inclusive and they allow everybody to explore their potential, and there are opportunities for learning and working together. Answer C was correct, as you can see here. And now we go with the last question. Yeah, okay, now it's working fine, thank you. What is the main educational method used in IVS activities worldwide? A, formal education, B, individual learning, B, C, technology-based learning, and D, non-formal education. So you got 15 seconds now to answer. Yeah, you get it right. So D is the right answer. And formal education and also experiential education, sometimes it's called like this. They are the main methods used in IVS activities. And through this approach, participants are at the center of the learning experience, and they can provide their personal contribution to the activities. So this was the end of the quiz. Sorry for the technical obstacle, but sometimes it's okay. Not a problem. And now I can see that the next section plans the photo session, right? So I leave the floor again to Hani and Giulietta.
Thank you, Mauro. We would like to make a group photo of all of us today. So if you would like to open your cameras, that would be nice to have a reminder of today's launching seminar. And let's toast everybody for CCIVS's 75 anniversary celebration.
Beautiful. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Julieta, can you take also?
Yeah, I took.
Thank you, everybody. And now back to Mauro for a recap of opportunities, IVS opportunities. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, so thanks, Alexandra. And now for this section, I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, so please confirm if you see this graphic here. Okay, now we're going to talk about the opportunities that you might have with IVS. This is a short recap. Of course, there are many. We can start with the first one is short-term volunteering. And this is the most popular format of volunteering in IVS and takes different names. So we can call it work camp, with the cultural exchange, voluntary camp, etc. The duration of a work camp is usually between 10 days to 3 weeks. And the number of participants is usually between 6 and 20 volunteers. And this is a space for people of different origins and cultures to meet while volunteering for a project of community interest in social, environmental, cultural fields. This project have a strong impact in building a more supportive and inclusive society and to promote cultural and exchanges and also breaking down prejudices. Besides this, we have also long-term volunteering. IVS organization offered the possibility to volunteer for a longer term abroad, up to 1 year, through different programs. In these projects, volunteers are involved in meaningful initiatives and have the chance to provide a tangible contribution to the local community while learning a lot about the hosting culture. Besides this, we have also campaigns. So CCIVS and IVS networks organize regularly campaigns on meaningful topics, which provide activists with opportunities to engage for environment, human rights, decolonization, peace, and other topics. And there is opportunity to join digital events, also in-person events through campaigns. So
Maura, one
Yes.
thing, I think you have an animation for this and we are not seeing it.
Okay, sorry, but you can see the drawings. Eh?
No.
No, okay. So I will try again. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it works. Thank you.
Okay, now? Also now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will, we were campaigns. Okay, now we are capacity building. IVS organization regularly propose many training courses and seminars addressed to young people and activists willing to increase their skills and knowledge on specific topics. Some examples are pre-departure training for outgoing volunteers, but we have also training for trainers, trainers for work and coordinators, etc. And people can join this initiative as participants, but also as trainers, facilitators, or experts of different roles. So this is another great opportunity to join IVS activities. Another possibility to join IVS initiative is through the statutory meetings. CCIVS, the IVS networks, and IVS organization run regularly their statutory meetings, like, for example, General Assembly, where the activists can, for example, elect the board members, they can define the strategic plan together in a participatory way. And these events are a great opportunity to better understand how the organization works and how to provide a contribution to the development of the movement, of the networks, and of the organization. Another possibility, and this is a great opportunity, is steering teams. So no matter if big or small, every project, initiative, or campaign in IVS has its own steering team. These are groups of activists who coordinate the initiative and have the opportunity to develop skills in several areas. So you can engage in communication, in management, in coordination, and this is a great opportunity. I joined many steering teams in my life, and I learn always a lot. Another possibility is, of course, working in an office as staff members, as placement officers, so PO stands for placement officer. People who work in the IVS offices are essential to keep the organization and the networks running. Many of them are young activists who started coordinated a voluntary project, like, for example, work camp, or they took part to a long-term volunteering, and then they decided to join the organization, and they have the possibility to deal with project management, to mentor young volunteers, to work in administration, and in many different areas. And among them, there are also the placement officer, and the placement officer coordinate the exchange of volunteers in short-term projects or work camps during the work camp season. So they are very important. Then you can also participate in IVS activities, joining external representation initiatives. IVS organizations and networks work together to promote non-formal education, intercultural exchange, and the values of international volunteering. And they do this by taking part in sending delegates to international events, meetings, or conferences organized by international bodies. So if you like this field, there are many possibilities to engage also in this. And then, of course, as you can see, there is the question mark, which is for you. And this is your own contribution. We presented many possibilities for you to participate, but keep in mind that you can propose your own ideas to IVS networks and organizations, because volunteers and activists are the driving force of the movement. So don't be afraid to contact CCIVS, the IVS networks, and the IVS organization in your region and in your area to engage yourself and to propose your ideas. So this was, in a nutshell, the possibilities that people have to commit to engage with IVS. And now I will leave the floor to Claudia, I think.
Yes, thank you, Mauro. Let me share my screen for a second. So yeah, thank you for inviting me. And I'm Claudia. I work for Service Civil International, as many of you know. And my journey with SCI started actually as a long-term volunteer in Switzerland, SCI Switzerland. And during that year of volunteering, I tried a little bit of the things that Mauro explained so far. So I had my first work camp. I went to international trainings, to an international project, local activities. So it was very good experience to see what are the possibilities in IVS. But today I would like to tell you the story of my latest work camp that happened last year. And I want to start with this quote/motto, which is, "We refuse to be enemies." And that was the motto of the host organization of the WordCamp. And I hope by the end of this story, you can really understand the relevance of this motto and how it was so powerful, and it still is. So I went to a WordCamp in Palestine. Last year in September. It was in a farm during the grape harvest. So, and a Tent of Nations, which is a partner organization of SCI. We were a group, like a small group, but very diverse in terms of ages and backgrounds. And we stayed there for 10 days. And our tasks were really related to the farm. So we were picking grapes, we were dividing the grapes and squeezing them to make a juice. We were also feeding the animals. There were these little puppies that were so cute running around. And we were also having discussions about the topics that were connected to the project. And you might ask why going all the way to Palestine to work on a farm doesn't sound very ecological. But the main purpose was actually to show international solidarity to the Palestinians living on the farm and owning the farm, and also to be a witness to the occupation and then be able to raise awareness once going back home. Also, as I will explain you later, having international volunteers on the farm was really important to create a little bit of safety and protection to the farm because it's actually under a threat of eviction. So having international people that can bear witness and that are living there for a bit can help. So yes, the farm is a Tent of Nations and is owned by a family of Palestinians. They are Christians. They also have a lot of Christian communities coming to the farm, also supporting with the bearing witness and being present. And it's in an area of the West Bank that is called Area C. That means that it's completely under the occupation and the control of the Israeli army. And that also means that a lot of the services are not possible on the farm, and it's not possible to develop the farm because the family and the farm has been under threat of eviction for more than 30 years. And this creates a lot of uncertainty on their legal status and if they can build something or not and stuff like that. And the farm is on a hill, and you will see the best sunset that you can ever see anywhere. And it's very peaceful environment. You're a bit isolated, so it's just you and nature and your small group of people. And it's super nice, but at the same time, you see the signs of the occupation every day and in every little thing. So for example, it's on a hill. There are many other hills all around, and they are all occupied with settlements, Israeli settlements. And just to remind or to tell people who don't know, in the occupied territories, settlements are legal under international law. They can even be considered a war crime. So you look around you and you see signs of occupation and war crime amidst the peace and calm and beauty of the place. So it's a very weird contrast. And another implication of the occupation and the fact that it's Area C is that, as I said, there cannot be services. So the farm cannot be connected to the electricity grid, and it cannot have running water. So for example, in the picture below, where you see all the lights at night, those are the settlements. So our farm was in complete darkness at night, which was also kind of nice in a way, if the reason wasn't so sad. And so when, for example, at night I needed to go to the toilet, I had my little torch in my mouth because I was not very prepared like other people had it on their head. I didn't, but anyways, and you go and you see these bright lights coming from the settlements. So they have all the services, and they have pools, they have fountains, they have water, whereas the farm couldn't have these. And also on the other picture on the top, you see these tanks on top of the kitchen that we were using, and these are for water, because again, they cannot have running water. So what they do is they created these big cisterns underground to collect rainwater during the rainy season. And then they need to make this water last for the whole year. So we were very mindful of water consumption. We were taking very few showers, very short. Washing the dishes was very, very fast. And also to give water to plants, we were using techniques that they taught us, and they were very conservative with water, which is very good for the environment, but it was also very labor intensive. So we were like, water was a big deal. And then something that really struck me, an incident that happened, was we were just there picking our grapes and chatting. It was really nice atmosphere. It was very safe and calm. And then at some point, Dawood, who was the host of the WordCamp, came rushing, and he's usually a very, very calm person. Like, he's seen everything, so nothing fazed him. But he was very agitated and a bit concerned. And basically there was a fire on the farm. Luckily, it was not exactly where we were. It was a bit far away, but still there was a fire, and it could have come our way. And then I saw this dilemma in them, like, are we gonna use the very precious water and little water that we have to stop the fire? Or are we gonna wait and see what happens, with the risk that maybe the wind blows the wrong way and it comes here and it spreads? So what they did was they gathered the water, they prepared it in strategic places, and they waited. We were lucky, there was no wind our way, so the fire just stopped by itself, and we didn't use the water. But it burned important trees. They were olive trees. It takes a long time to grow olive trees and for them to bear fruits, and it's their livelihood. So a lot of trees were destroyed. They didn't know if the fire was caused by someone or it was spontaneous. But either way, I could see this, the consequences of having all these restrictions, not being able to have services. And this is the consequence. But another big thing was they did call the fire brigades, and they came. But because it's in Area C that is under control of the army, these services are actually for the settlers, not for the locals. So what the fire brigades did, they just waited on the side of the farm, checking the fire, seeing if it would spread to the settlements. If it did, they would intervene. But if it didn't, and it didn't, they didn't do anything. So that was just one example, one tip of the iceberg that really made me understand a little bit of the challenges that they face. But then the other amazing thing that we could witness was the response of the family. So, and that's where the motto comes back, because they receive these, they face these situations and even worse ones regularly, and a lot of injustices and violence that they receive, and they actively chose non-violence. So they refuse to be enemies. They refuse to see the people that can be considered on the other side or that can do this to them as enemies. Not only because they don't want to harm others, but they don't want to harm their own dignity and their own values by turning into someone who is violent and someone they don't want to be and they don't recognize. So for me, this sentence was really powerful, and it made me understand even more what nonviolence can be. And also, if it's possible to choose nonviolence in this context, it's possible everywhere. And we also had discussions with them on how we can incorporate it in our own lives, in our own communities, in small conflicts, big conflicts. And we were really invited to make it our own. It's not only important in situations that are this extreme, but in any context, it can be important. So that was my main takeaway from the WordCamp. And yeah, it was great. It sounds strange to say that it was great because you witness a lot of injustice, but we're really welcome with a lot of love and a lot of peace by the family. We could visit also other cities, other situations, other projects. We had a good time together, cooking, like the normal things that we do in WordCamps, cooking together, chit-chatting at night before going to bed. So yeah, it's really an experience that I recommend to anyone, and it doesn't need to be, you know, in Palestine, someone doesn't feel ready, but any project that you choose with your own motivations, you will learn something. You will connect with the community that you're working with. You will learn really without the barriers that maybe the media can create. And yeah, I think it's a very powerful experience. Thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you, Claudia. I think Claudia's IVS examples takes us to the next step, which is connecting local to global. And what Claudia said, after her experience in the local community, in that family, she wanted to share the awareness with everybody. So connecting communities and citizens with volunteers at the grassroots level, the IVS organizations are building links from local actions to global processes. Here are a few quotes that we're going to read to you from volunteers after the IVS experience, something like Claudia just narrated to us. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes. So a volunteer from Indonesia, after her experience, she wrote, "This made me understand why we are created in different tribes, cultures, and countries. Because diversity is not for division, but unity. This camp made me understand more about life. Life isn't only about myself, but also about other people's lives. We shouldn't see where we come from, what color of skin we are, because we are the same. This is why ACI did volunteering for peace." Can we have the next one, please? Another volunteer that, yes, this one, please. Claire followed a permaculture design course in Gaia, Kosovo. "I'm very grateful that I got to participate in this course. I think that taking a permaculture design course is a meaningful experience for everyone, regardless of whether or not you have land or feel ready to start gardening. You can apply the principles and concepts of permaculture everywhere. After all, you are only limited by your imagination." Next one. A participant in a training wrote, I learned a lot of things, how climate change has affected nature and its surroundings, and about permaculture being a solution. I'm ready on the ground implementing what I learned. How to make a hot compost was a mystery. Now I'm busy doing my own 18-day hot compost. Another training course participant wrote, I learned many things about peace in its 3 levels, as well as about emotional and social intelligence and nonviolent communication. In general, I think we covered all the basic aspects needed to get a deep introduction to the topic of peace, so we're confident to share what we learned. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra. Okay, so the next one is the question and answer. I will share a Padlet, so everyone can click the Padlet.
And we would like to ask you what else you would like to include in the 75-year celebration. So we would like to collect your opinion. How would you like to celebrate the 75-year celebration of CCIVS, beside what the group has already planned for you? So please go into the Padlet link. It should be in the chat. And then tell us your opinion.
Everybody knows how to use the Padlet. I will share it. Okay, you're sharing, sorry. A proper party with breakout rooms collecting international music. Yes, that is a good idea. For sure. There we have storytelling from different regions and ages. Also storytelling, including people representing the communities, beautiful music performance during the opening day. Something else. Short clips and greetings from activists from all over the world. IBS speed date. What is that? I like it. Very unusual. Sharing traditional music and national videos. Well, there are some ideas and we will take all of them in account. So, thank you. Something else. Celebrate our diversity and richness. A documentary from programs of what is? Like World Heritage Program case in Study Africa. Okay, that is really good. Sharing our different cultures and experience from our communities. Yes. Someone wants to comment, ask something, share something before we leave? Looking forward for the offline celebrations. Yes, also a pool party. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you everyone for being here
very
with
much.
us. It was really
Yeah.
nice to see you. And thank you for
Also, thank you, Mauro
facilitators.
and Alexandra. Yes,
Yes. And Claudia.
Thank
Great
you for
story.
organizing.
and Claudia. Yeah. So see you again in the next webinar series. And have a nice day. Have a good day. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
you.
Glad to see you
Thank you.
again.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
So much.
Bye
Asante
bye.
sana.
You.
Just to congratulate Hani and Giulietta and Mauro for all your input, Claudia also. That went well as a launching webinar.
Thank you.
Very well.
Thanks. Thanks also
I'm
to
so
you.
sorry. Maybe we can stop the recording first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I will cut it. I will cut it. Don't
Before
worry.
saying something.